of pregnancy when development can be studied through in vivo scans and embryos donated for research. Embryo development remains largely hidden to scientific inquiry, which has yet which has not yet been published or peer reviewed aimed to overcome this. Commentators cautioned that the science was outpacing the law, urged that a clear governance framework for such research was needed. Wow, y'all, this is some powerful stuff. I mean, creating human beings from a stem cell clones. So, to all my quote unquote conspiracy theorists, what I like to call us is conspiracy realists, a lot of stuff we've been talking about is coming to light, y'all. This can challenge somebody's beliefs, right? Because then it's like, well, where do we actually come from if you can actually create a whole nother human being? And it takes me back to a lot of things that I've learned, and namely, I learned from Forbidden Knowledge, aka Billy Carson, his extensive research. I checked his sources; they all check out, and with the translations of the Emerald Tablets, they were talking about cloning humans back then, but the reason why they had to stop cloning is because these clones couldn't reproduce on their own. So you had to keep making clones. It seems like we're repeating history once again, and not in a good way. I mean, it's pretty scary for the fact that you can actually clone another human being. I mean, what does that say about our souls, right? Does this clone have a part of our soul now? Like, is our soul actually embedded into our DNA, or are they separate? We really don't know. We have beliefs, but when it comes to proving things, you need evidence for that, right? So it's definitely can question a lot of people's religious beliefs. So I'm gonna continue with the article. Um, it says scientists say synthetic embryos could further study of genetic disorders and recurrent miscarriage during the crucial post 14-day window. They include cells that would typically go on to form the placenta, yolk sac, and the embryo itself, though have not yet developed a beating heart or rudimentary brain, and it remains unknown whether they have the potential to continue maturing beyond this earliest stage of development. After parallel research in mice in Professor Cernica Goet's lab, synthetic embryos grown from mouse cells appeared almost identical to natural embryos. Pardon me, I'm getting lost in my words. They underwent gastrulation and began formation of a brain and a beating heart structure. However, when implanted into female mice, they failed to develop. It would be illegal under current legislation to implant synthetic human embryos into a woman's uterus. Also commenting to The Guardian, Dr. Robin Lavelle Badge, PhD, head of the laboratory. My computer's freezing. Stay with me. Okay. Head of the laboratory. laboratory. Head of the laboratory of stem cell biology and developmental genetics at the Francis Crick Institute in London said, the idea is that if you really model normal human embryonic development using stem cells, you can gain an awful lot of information. Okay. I think a part of it got cut off. I apologize. But this is the last piece of the article that I had screenshotted. She explained that the 14-day limit was intentionally chosen as a specific milestone in embryonic development, as on the 15th day, the primitive streak begins to form and embryonic cells start to differentiate. It is also clearly ahead of day 22 neurons start to form. I'm just off it today, y'all. I'm sorry. Roger Sterney, professor of reproductive medicine at Hull York Medical School, told the SMC that the study built on quote, a steadily growing foundation of research, end quote, that demonstrates that under specialized lab conditions, stem cells can be persuaded to form a structure that resembles a blastocyst. In normal development, this is the time that the embryo begins the process of implantation and establishing pregnancy. We know remarkably little about this step in human development, but is a time where many pregnancies are lost, especially in an IVF setting, which means in vitro, artificially inseminating the semen into a woman. He said, models that can enable us to study this period are urgently needed to help to understand infertility and pregnancy loss. All right. So it's a very interesting article to say the less. And my conclusion about all of this, they're like still trying to find a cure for cancer or things that have been deemed incurable. But when you start to clone another human, like to try to create another being, I think that crosses the line in my beliefs. I don't believe in being able to create another human being, like literally cloning. And then it's like we got all this stuff out here about people being already. It's like now it's gonna really actually differentiate the real non-GMO human beings versus the artificial human beings. I mean, this is maddening. This is like a the science fiction movie that we're all in, and we don't even know who the main character is because all this stuff is happening, and it's like who's out here to stop it? Who's out here to have, some morality? I don't believe in cloning a human being. I just think it's absolutely wrong on so many levels. I mean, think about all the evil people that could be cloned. They're gonna be worse than they were before. And I mean, it's like we're playing God down here. I really don't. I don't like that. First of all, yes, God indeed gave us all the ability to have our own creations. But when you start talking about creating synthetic humans, I mean, yeah, somebody slap me or something because, yo, this is real life. Like, this is not a video game. This is not a movie script. This is actually going on. We have out here that are cloning human beings. Now they say, oh, it's to study the developmental process of a fetus and to see how we can be better off, how we can have the mother's womb more healthy, how we can avoid miscarriages and things of that nature, which I'm all for. But you always pay attention to, like, it comes a point in time where anything could be used as a weapon, anything could be used for evil. So it's like, as much good as this could actually do with stem cells and stuff, I am totally against actually making a synthetic human being. I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? This is insane. I really don't understand how this isn't all over the news. What's going on? I mean, then you look at political figures too. They could be clones too. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I've always been of the mindset that anything that they bring to light that they allow the masses to know about, they're at least 50 to 100 years in advance. So it's like, anything that they're doing now in trial, this is just a show, put on a show like, hey, we're trying this, but we don't actually have it down pat. You best believe they have it down pat. And those scientists that figured it out, well, they're not going to be the Dr. Fauci's and people of that nature. They're going to be people that you'll never hear about and probably never hear from. Because what they're able to do with science these days, they want the powers that be want to keep it to themselves for weapons and things like that, or just to have it so nobody else could have it. You know what I mean? Like they could literally have the elixir of the fountain of youth and would not share with anybody. Because then you're changing the whole paradigm, then you're changing the whole program that 99% of humans have to partake in. That's going to school, getting a job, and things of that nature. Now not everybody's life path is going to be going to school and getting a job. Hey, I'm out here trying to work for myself as well. You know what I mean? Bringing content and meaningful content that people want to know about, like to hear about, see how the rest of the world is thinking about what the hell is going on in the world. I mean, come on. Synthetic humans? Synthetic humans. They are creating synthetic humans, y'all. I mean, at what point do we just like, yo, we need, I mean, get that. Can we allow this to go on? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But I'm this topic because this is a very touchy subject, y'all. I mean, we're trying to protect our family, definitely the children out here. Now you're telling me that they're sitting here and cloning humans. Leave what you think in the comments below. Give me suggestions, new talk about. My thing keeps going out of service, y'all. There we go. It stutters again. Peace and one love to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Peace and one love. Oschino Tha Don.